If you help one person, you're not going to change the world, but you'll change the world for that one person. Yeah, and I just think that's cool because we can think that we need to be, trying to change the world, but just to coin a phrase, one random act of kindness at a time.
G'day, welcome to the Shake Up podcast. This is where we share stories about real people and the intersection of fitness, self-improvement and happiness. Today I've got a good friend of mine named Rutty. How are you, Gordo?
Great, Manny.
Gordo is a bit of a guru. He's a he's a leading property strategist with 20 years experience in the property industry. This guy is genuine about helping people not only create more wealth, but just to unlock their full potential and just become better humans. This guy's helped hundreds of people build their investment property portfolio. I know that here on the Gold Coast, Gordo is involved in many communities that are all very privileged to have him as part of it, including the Shake Up My Business. This guy is always super generous in giving his time and support and energy. Certainly a selfless soul and a good human. Mate, thanks for doing this with us.
My pleasure.
How are you feeling?
Feeling great.
We've just done a workout, so it's probably a bit sore and a bit weary. But
all good.
Mate, how long you been training with us for?
I think it's nearly 3 years, I think.
Yeah, 3 years.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It's a good run.
Yeah, it's really good. It's great.
Has sort of fitness and wellness always been an important part of your life?
Feels like it always has been. I've always been active, but I think really it was when I was about 25, I think, was the first time I ever really got active working in a gym or working out at a gym. Before that, I was always doing things, but wasn't really something I thought about, but I was always doing stuff. So I feel like my whole life I've been, fit and healthy and well. Yeah, but it was when I was about 25, my first real experience of, doing aerobics and doing a little bit of weight training, and from that I did my fitness leaders course, became an aerobics instructor. It was part-time, but it was good fun. Kept me fit. But
so you were 25 at the time?
Yeah, I think I became a fitness instructor, I think when I was about 30 was when I became a fitness instructor. So I'd kind of been training for a few years and doing classes, and one day I was talking to the owner of the gym and said, hey, I'd really like to do this, and so he put me through the course, and did all sorts of classes,
That's great. And
back in the day it was TBTs and high energy and whatever they called them, Did some t-shirt classes with the older ladies that couldn't kind of jump around as much as everybody else, so they'd just come in t-shirts and we'd do like a light workout and I'd sing Elvis to them. And it was good fun. Well,
if I didn't know that, Gordo runs sessions for us at the Shake Up, and I've always known he's good with the crowd and a real people person, but I never was aware that you had that background.
Yeah.
So it's
kind of was real. It was quite intense. I did it for must have been only kind of working in the industry for probably 4 years, and I was doing. It was only a part-time gig for me, so I was doing 10, 11, 12 classes some weeks. So I kind of burnt out on the teaching thing, but always just stayed active in in the gym. But it was a good fun time. Yeah, it was a really fun time.
So tell us, mate, you're in the years that I've known you, like this stage of your life, how old are you, mate?
56.
56. Yeah, I know I can see you've obviously put a lot of work in yourself over the years, and more recently with food and nutrition and training. Is that, do you know that there's a direct correlation between doing those things and improvements in business and relationships and other areas of your life?
I definitely think so. I've been doing, this kind of thing in different formats for a long time. So for me, it's almost like a norm. But I know that if I wasn't doing it, and you can, you just need to look in the community and see people that aren't doing it, and you can see areas of their life where they have challenges because You know, it makes such a difference to you when you get up and you're active. You know, physiology is so important to everything we do. If we want to have a positive attitude, if we're, your physiology is the first thing that dictates how we feel.
Yeah.
You know, if we're walking around with our head down and you're not gonna. You just don't feel good.
Yeah.
The minute if you stick your shoulders back, stick your chest up, look up, it's almost like you can't help but feel good.
Yeah.
You know, it's like even just doing that, then I can feel my energy lift just by sitting up a bit straighter, and so yeah, it's really important. And coming and doing, a shake-up class or going to running the stairs, and anything, just get yourself moving, and it'll change. The way you feel, the way you move, and the way your day's going to run.
Your state.
Yeah, your state, exactly.
Pretty cool, man.
Which is so important.
Do you feel good all the time?
Yeah, well, I think my first response is say yes, because I every day I kind of train myself to look for things that make me feel good. So if someone said, do you feel good, my immediate reaction is to say yes. But obviously there's times in your life when you don't. It's not 100% all the time. So I don't want to kid people and say that, oh yeah, every second of every day. But you get to a point where you recognise that, and you can change. It can be changed in an instant. You can be feeling down and just change a thought, and you feel good again. It's all. It's like that. It's just a thought that can change us from not feeling good to feeling good. So
it's really it's a good reminder of belief. If you believe something for long enough,
yeah,
like you said, then you've just convinced yourself to feel good. You believe you feel good for long enough that your first response is to feel good.
Yeah,
it's a pretty powerful thing, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and it is something you train yourself to. I don't think well, we've been trained, I think, and conditioned that's not the way we are, but I think that's really how we should. That's how we should be. I think that's how we were created to feel good.
Yeah.
So I think we're created, but there's things go on around us, and there is negativity out there if you allow it to come in. So I think you just got to train your mind to focus on the positive stuff. Yeah.
Do you have a I think I speak to a lot of people, and personally myself, I know that most of us have an inner critic. Most of us are pretty critical on ourselves. Do you have one that you know of?
Yeah, mate. Well, I've thought about that, and I think I do. And whether it's right or wrong, I don't. I kind of hope it's hope it's not right, but I do have it. There's one little conflict I have is, I really believe we can create the life we want for ourselves. So, as I've gone through, my work life, my home life, everything, I go, well, I want to create the environment that I want, which means I want to have a really good balance of everything. So, work is a certain amount of time, spending time with Karen and being at home. I love going home. I work from home, which is awesome. But I'd hate to think I was working in an office and I'd be there till 8 or 9 o'clock at night and not coming home. I travel a little bit with my work, so I always try to do it so that I get home every day. Like, I can't always, but for me, I love getting home. So the conflict I have is sometimes I go, well, should I be working a little bit harder? And that's a little conflict I have. But I try to. I feel like I've carved out a niche in what I do, where I can be really productive, but still really balance my time. Like, I'm not down. I'm reading a book at the moment called the 4-Hour Work Week. I'm not down to 4 hours a week yet, but I'm trying to. How can I leverage, people I work with, not use them, but use other people, use their services to to leverage my time and make just get that balance right, because I just hate to think I was, because you see it in out in the community and in the in professional life, where people are just consumed by by work, and I don't want to be that. I'm 56 now, so I'm kind of thinking I've kind of been running a race, and it's like, I'm at the 100-meter sprint. I'm at the 90-meter mark, and I've got 10 meters to go, which is like the last 10 years of what I think is serious work. I don't think I'll ever give up what I do, because I really enjoy what I do. But I want to. There's still more freedom that I want out of life, and yes, it's just getting that. The conflict I have is just getting that balance right to know that I'm doing what I need to do, but don't get consumed by it.
Yeah.
I really want to, I love coming to shake up early in the mornings, and I love all that stuff, and I don't want to be working Saturdays and Sundays, and just
I think it's pretty common, personally, and I think we spend a lot of time around business owners. And I think it's, as a business owner, that's a really common thought process of, am I doing enough? What can I do more of? I think it's pretty common. And tell us more. You talked about you've carved a niche for yourself. Tell us a little bit about your business.
So what I do, there's a couple of facets to what I do. So I have so basically what I do is I help people who are looking to invest in property. If that's the the path they want to take. There's many investment paths, but property is the one that I understand. That I've been working in property since 1988, and so if someone's interested in property, then I kind of act like the conduit between all the different aspects of it. So finding the location for them, connecting them with the builder or the developer that's going to produce it, or if there's something that's already something that's built. If they need a financier, then I can put them in contact with that. If they need a solicitor, I can put them in contact with that. So it's really just closing the loop on all of the things they need to set themselves up to have a great landlord experience. So that's the thing for me with all of my clients. It's really, really important that the experience of being a property investor is a really good one.
Yeah.
You can invest in something that could be a real great investment, but it's a headache. There's always issues with tenants or whatever. So we really focus on getting in locations where, with respect, attract the better quality tenant. And I don't mean that they're particularly better people, but they're better people in the respect that we like to attract people who, whilst they're renting, they're probably people that would rather own their own home, so they want to be somewhere where they'll treat it like their own home. So that's why we focus on areas where that's predominantly what it is. There's owner occupiers living in there, and not just a community of tenants.
Right.
As I know, and it's not that those tenants that don't look after the properties. It's not that they're particularly anything wrong with them, but it's not my house, and everyone else, no one else mows their lawn, no one weeds their gardens, and you go into some estates, you just know it. There's just
it's a different level.
Yeah, it's a different. Yeah, so we try to get people in there so that the property's better maintained, and so that's my focus, is to make sure that my clients just have a really great experience. For me, a great experience is they get an email from the property manager at the end of the month with their statement. They forward it on to accountant, and that's all I do. Like 2 minutes a month. That's all they got to think about it.
So it doesn't change their lifestyle too
much.
Doesn't
change it. You don't want to change it. You don't create another job for yourself. You know, when property investment shouldn't be something you got to get up every day and run around and rev it up, and it's just like a set and forget, and just let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Yeah. And so in doing that, I don't need all those other services. They're all their own businesses, so I don't need to have a lot. I don't need to have any staff. I don't personally have any staff myself. I use all
alliances.
Alliances. Yeah. So for me, that's great.
And what would you say? I mean, you're a good communicator. I notice you're a good communicator. What do you think's your biggest asset in your business, like your knowledge or your communication?
I think my biggest asset is that I really care for people.
Yeah.
You know, I want what I deliver to be the best that I can do.
Yeah.
You know, and I think people see that. I think people believe that, and they understand that. So I really think my biggest asset is that I care about people. You know, building relationships is really important to me.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just about, you know,
The end
I'm
product.
going to get you a property and then, you know, that's all I'm focused on.
Yeah.
You know, I don't particularly need you to want to invite me to dinner every week, but you know, I want to. I just want to do the right thing, and I think people realise that when they when we get together.
Good, mate. What can you tell us? You know, going off the business topic, but like going more in your personal life. What's the Can you give us something quirky, something crazy, one of the most adventurous kind of out there things that's happened to you?
Well, I think going back to it was 2003, and I was working for a building company, and I was travelling heaps. I had branches kind of all over New South Wales, basically from the coast, Coffs Harbour, Port Macquarie, inland to Tamworth, Dubbo, Mudgee, all those areas. And I oversaw all those areas. So I was on the road a lot, and like I said, I never liked staying away from home much. So when I did that, I'd get up like super early one morning, and then I'd time it so that I think I used to leave home at 3:30 or something. So I'd time it so that the first location I got to was when the tradies were starting on that first job, and I'd do a run, and I would have to be away for one night. Anyway, I just remember coming back into the office one day, and I was chatting to the Julie who was on our reception desk, and I said, "Man, wouldn't it be good if I could fly and do that?" And she said, yeah, "Danny," that was her husband. She said, "Danny's he's a flying instructor. He can teach you." And I knew Danny he was an ambulance officer, so he was like a paramedic. He used to, and I'd see him come in and dressed up in his ambulance thing. Never had any idea that he was also a flying instructor. So Danny will teach you how to fly. And that moment we rang him, and I was there the next morning with my first flying lesson, and I just went into it. And it was, for me, it was because when I was growing up as a kid, I remember we lived in Jamaica whilst I was born, and we used to fly and visit family. My sister lived in Barbados, and we had lots of family in America. And as a little kid, I think I can remember it from probably 7 or 8 years old, and I joined it was BOAC at the time, which is now British Airways, and I joined the Junior Jet Club. So I had these little wings, and I had a little logbook. And back in the day, when you got on planes, they'd let you up into the cockpit. I used to go and sit up with the pilots, and you know, they'd fill out your logbook. And my dream was I wanted to be a commercial airline pilot. And but you know, life gets busy, and you know, some things don't happen, and that didn't happen. But I thought, wow, it wouldn't be awful, because like flying, as I was growing up, I used to have these dreams that were, I'd wake up and think it happened. Like I dreamed like I could fly like Superman. Seriously, I'd have these dreams, and I'd just go, and it's funny, like I used to do this little thing, and I'd get up in the air, I'd be soaring around, and I'd wake up and go, man, you know, it just felt like I did it. It was so real. And so I started learning to fly, and so for me that was a really just cool thing, you know.
Absolutely.
Like I remember the first time I was living in Coffs Harbour at the time, and that's right. No, Karen and I it was in 2004 was our first move to the Gold Coast. We're still living in Coffs, but we moved to the Gold Coast, but I was still working in Coffs. So I bought a plane during my license, and the coolest thing I did was I hired a hangar at the at Coolangatta Airport here, and then there was I used to share a hangar with a mate in Coffs. And I remember the first trip I did was I had a car up in the hangar up here, left Coffs Harbour, and I flew onto the, landed, taxied around to where the hangars were, opened up the hangar, drove the car out, back to plane, and drove out of the airport. And I just thought, this is so cool. This is so cool. And so I had some adventures while I was flying. Yeah.
Well, how man? That's
it was just it. I just remember that day doing that thing, like parking in Coffs Harbour, like parking there, pulling the plane out, putting the car in, flying out of the Coffs Harbour, flying up to the Gold Coast, and it was just like
it all came together.
Yeah, it was just awesome. Yeah.
You fly often?
Not anymore. Like I haven't really flown much for the last 2 years. Like when I was doing all that kind of work and doing those regional areas a lot, it was really worthwhile having it. But I don't do that as much anymore. So yeah, it just came to a point where it was just didn't make sense to kind of hang on to it. And yeah.
Talk about resourceful. Like talk about just doing your job and not wanting to get caught up in the logistics of it and just going to get your license. You know?
Yeah, it was cool. It was really good. Yeah.
Is it a hard thing to get?
It's hard if you. I didn't find it hard. Like the way if you do it properly, which means you've got to do like a couple of lessons a week. Some people try to learn to fly, and I do a lesson today, and then I'll do the next lesson in 2 weeks because there's so much to learn. So you kind of do this one thing, and you come back 2 weeks later, and you forget what. Then you got to try and relearn what you did. So the idea is to, if you can do 2 or maybe 3 lessons a week, then it's a real gradual process. The way they instruct you is so good. Like the first time you fly, you don't nothing to do with the takeoff, so you just sit there. They get you up in the air, then all they get you to focus on first is just straight and level. And man, straight and level is hard when you've never done it. Like you're flying on the planes, just going like this, they're going like this, But once you get it, it's just because it's like life. Because you've got to make tiny little to stay on track. You just got to make tiny little adjustments, and it keeps you on track. But when you're first doing it, the plane gets right over here before you want to bring it back. Then it's over here, and then you know what I mean. And yeah, so that's the first thing. And then you just do that. Probably the first 3 or 4 times you fly. That's all you're doing. Just working how do I keep this thing, from not going over there, not going there, not going up there. And then just slowly they teach you stuff. I remember the first time I went to land day, the instructor was sitting next to me there, and I was there, he was here, and I'm coming in to land, and I'm going, and the plane was going like this. And I'm going, no way, like this. And I reckon we were only 10 feet off the ground, and he went taking over, and he just grabbed it, and it was just so cool. But as you go along, you learn all that sort of stuff. But you do it incrementally, and it's not hard.
What a cool, it's a cool, a cool analogy for life, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is like that. I forget what it was now. It was if you're 1 degree off course, I think it's, and you don't do anything about it. It's like, I think it's the 1 in 60 rule. So if you're 1 degree off course, then I think it's like in 60 miles of travelling, you're going to be, I just forget what it is. It's like you're going to be 30 miles off where you were going. Yeah, so it's just a matter of and you don't notice. So when you're doing the little moves, that your passengers feel like you're not doing anything, but it is. It's just constantly, it's cool.
It's pretty epic. So like, what? You seem like you're pretty in tune with yourself, mate.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, you are. What do you think about your values much, and what your greatest values are?
Yeah, I do. I think the greatest value for me is, I think, connection with people, and I got there's a real belief that we're all connected in some way. So I think everybody is, everybody's important. So my values are to, treat people the right way. I like to think that everybody I meet, they go away maybe feeling a little bit better than they were before they met me, not go away going, God, you know what I mean? And obviously family and community. That's my biggest value, is just, being kind. Yeah,
it's pretty awesome, man. Like it's, and the time I spend around you, and I know the time that many of us spend around you, you certainly get that impression. And what better way to, they always talk about when you're trying to identify your best values to look at your what your best people in your life would say about you at your funeral. And can you imagine all of your best people in the world telling stories about how every time they connected with you, they walked away feeling like a better person?
That'd be awesome.
Isn't that? That's
because I know, mate, for as long as I can remember, it was kind of one of my. You just said what people would say about you. I always have had a desire to go. When I am gone, I want people to go. This is kind of generous.
Yep.
That's how I've tried to be like that all my life.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's
not easy, though, is it? No,
not always.
It takes work.
Yeah.
It's a cool thing, man.
It's
Yeah, I admire that, mate, because I know there's not a lot of. I mean, you don't meet many people who have that as their highest value. I know I talk about a lot with the shake-up, with my fitness business. One of the highest values of it is acceptance. I like to think that, it's meant to be a hard training session, and it's really designed for people like you, who are probably more athletic. But that doesn't mean that when people who aren't athletic come in here, they're not more than welcome. And I don't care what their age, shape, size, position is. If they've got a willingness to want to work hard and be better, then they're in. And you can see that value. I love that. I love that about the shake up and you guys, because you guys bring that value in and you live it. And there's not many places. I mean, there is a lot of places, but it's when you find places like that where you just go and no one cares. It's you want to be around those places more, don't you? Really?
Definitely.
Thanks for sharing that one, man. It's good. How do you relax?
Naps on the lounge. Find it easy to relax on the lounge.
Power nap though?
Yeah, it's a power nap. Yeah, sometimes you just sit there and just a little nap for 20 minutes, and it's relaxing. Going to the movies. Karen and I love going to movies together. I find that really relaxing. There's some, watch some shows on TV. Don't watch a lot, but there's, you get a couple of things you like, and it's one of those. I remember, I think it was Anthony Robbins said it once. It's almost like a meditation kind of thing sometimes. If because you get consumed in this story, and you're not really thinking about, anything that might be concerning you. So it can be quite a therapeutic thing to just get lost in, in a story. So I do like doing that. I'm not one for. I can't remember really the last time I kind of sat down and watched the news or listen to that kind of stuff. But I don't mind a good, a good story. Yeah. So I like doing that.
If it's uplifting and motivating, you walk away going, how am I going to be better?
And music, I love music. I love,
You do.
Listen to music all the time. That relaxes me, I just, I'm home sometimes and I'll just hook up Spotify and just cruise around and listen to it. Yeah.
What are you listening to at the moment?
In music wise?
Yeah, like if you were going to drive home now and you're going to put some music on, what would you put on?
Well, last night we were listening to Elvis all the way home after watching that show. It's varied. Like I look for. I do like older stuff. Fleetwood Mac and all those guys. I love that kind of era. I'm not really in one genre. As long as it's it's got a good beat, and I do like songs that are a little bit uplifting. I love listening to that stuff. I love listening to like Jackson's music. I think that's pretty cool. 70s disco I do really like. That's got a good beat.
Evident. Anyone who's ever seen Gordo at any sort of soiree or function, he'll be cutting shapes to some. If there's disco on, even if it's not disco on, he'll be dancing. And if he's dancing, it's remarkable. I've had some good dance offs with you, mate. Some sweaty old dance offs.
Very sweaty.
What are you most? If I had to ask you what you're most proud of achieving, you give me one thing. What would it be?
And it's I guess it's an achievement, but not. I don't know if you really call it an achievement. I'm so proud. And I think hopefully it had something to do with me. But my kids, you know, like honestly, I look at them and go, they're so good. You know, they are really good people.
Yeah.
And yeah, so how you know, and Karen and I think we have been good parents, but I know other people are as good as us, and you know, I shouldn't judge other kids, but I just look at my kids and go, man, they're just good people. We've had such a good run with them, and just no dramas, and so as a parent, that just really, you know, I just think, how good's that?
That's an achievement, mate.
It is, yeah, it really is. I think in this day, I think it is. It's well, it's a great thing. You know, whether I call it my achievement, I'm blessed.
It's absolutely your achievement.
I'm blessed to have, you know, the kids that I have.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I've got babies, and I'm at the early stage of this.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense to me, because I look at all the time that Erin and I invest in the kids, and we've been doing it for 3 years. Or you've been doing it for 20 years beyond, and that is your greatest achievement. I've met your kids, and they're all wonderful. You know, that's an epic achievement, mate. So that's it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Tell us about Karen. How did you and Karen meet?
We met at the gym.
Did you?
I was teaching aerobics.
No way.
Yeah. And then when I gave up aerobics, she took up teaching. So
okay.
Yeah. So she still does it today.
Yeah, right. She still does it.
Yeah. She's doing 9 classes a week, or sometimes 10 classes a week. She does. Yeah.
A pretty active family, eh?
Yeah, which is good. Yeah. So she does, outside of her work though, she's not that keen to. I often say, "Come down to shake," because she does. You know, she does so much of it in a week. She goes, working out for her is not a pastime.
Yeah.
She loves it. She gets paid to do it, so it keeps her fit and healthy. She knows that whenever she does give that up, she's going to need to do, you know, join something and do something. But at the moment, outside of teaching her classes, there's, you know, I got her to do a Tough Mudder, not last year, the year before. She said, "Please don't ask me to do that again." She did it for me, but yeah, that was, and poor thing though, she was crook as a dog. She had this really bad cold, and she was coughing, and so we kept her out of the water obstacles. But she did everything else, and I think she had a kind of good time, but not
just
the best
don't ask
time.
again,
Just don't ask again. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. You know, one of the things I love about you, mate, is that, like, I think a lot of us, especially in these communities that we hang in, there's a lot of emphasis put on family, you know, and when you see a family like yours that you know, you've got a great relationship with your kids and your wife, and that's, to me, like, it's certainly what I aspire to, mate. So it's it's cool to see, brother. What are you looking forward to in the next 12 months?
I'm looking forward to seeing what the next 12 months brings. You know, there's things going on in the kids' lives, and that's something where, you know,
it's exciting.
Seeing what's going, you know, what's actually going to happen. You know, without kind of talking about what things they're doing, there's some pretty exciting stuff that they're up to. So it'd be good to see what unfolds there. Yeah.
Cool. What I think it's a good question. Like, what, you know, you appear to be super successful in everything you do. What area of your life do you think needs more attention or more work?
Yeah, I thought about that, and I just think it's hard to pinpoint one area. I just think it's important, like every day, to, you know, just try to be better.
Yep.
You know, and it's an old Anthony Robbins saying, "Can I?" Do you know "Can I"? Don't know "Can I"?
No.
I'm trying to think what it means. Yeah.
You know the acronym.
The acronym, yeah. Oh, how can I not remember what it is. But it's basically every day. It's constant and never-ending improvement.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just it's. I just think it's over all areas of my life. You know, it's just like the metaphor with the plane. It's just every day, just trying to keep on track, because I've mentioned before about like my routine during the day, and there's been times in my life where I've kind of things feel like everything's cruisy and everything's going well, and you go, I don't need to kind of motivate myself anymore, or focus on stuff that much, and everything's good. And before you know it, you go, something's not right, and you go, because you just kind of drift a little bit, and you don't notice it, and then one day you go, I'm a little bit off track here. So so at the moment it's just about every day just trying to set myself up for success, but success in every area of my life. It's hard to pinpoint one that I think I need to work on. The thing I need to work on and just work on it every day is going, come on, you got this, be positive, and
So I think one of the questions I always ask everyone I meet, and it intrigues me, because you're the same. You spend your life trying to help people be better in different areas, and I can never identify what the common thread is, or I don't know what the answer is. You can help them with nutrition and training and self-talk and everything else, but I think one thing that's common with a lot of the people I speak to who are doing well is their kind of morning routine. Tell us about yours. How's it go for you?
Okay, so most mornings I'm up at 4 o'clock, except when we're training at
4:45.
4:45, and I need to get up a little bit earlier. But generally, I get up at 4 o'clock. The first thing I do is I go to my office, and I have I call it, the title is creation, and then I type out each morning kind of how I visualise my life, and that takes me about 10 to 15 minutes and I type that out, and then I just save it for the day. And
does it change?
No, at the moment it's pretty much the same. There might be slight little variances through it, but generally it's the same. It's just about how I'm picturing how I want my life to be. And there's some things in there at the moment where there's some targets I'm aiming for. So I'm going, by this date I'm going to be this, and so I find that really good. And then the next thing I do is I like every morning to look for something that inspires me and makes me feel good. Obviously, doing that initially makes you feel good, but I also like to share some stuff with other people. So in my daily kind of just looking for stuff, and I share that first thing in the morning. I know there's a organisation I'm a part of, which is the Sanctuary, which is the women's refuge. And Simone's kind of given me that job I need you every morning to put something out there to the Facebook group of the Sanctuary. So I'll find something and I'll do that. But doing that helps me, because I'm whatever I'm finding for them is inspiring me. Yeah. And then there's other groups that, like obviously the Shake Up, I put some stuff up, and the enique group, I'll put some stuff to stir those guys up. And then generally I just I don't use Facebook to go, here's what I had for dinner. There's anything wrong with that, but that's just not me. I don't go, this is what I did, this is what I've, But I like to use it to, and it encourages me, because I often see people and I go, I needed that this morning. You know what I mean? And that feels good.
Totally.
So so that's what I like to do for. I probably spend about 15 minutes doing that, and then when I'm driving down to come to work out, I've got about a 25-minute window, so I use that to to listen to some some motivating stuff. So that's my morning routine. Then train. Yep.
Sick, mate.
So it's cool.
It's funny because I know those. I see the stuff you put out. You know, and I know how much effort that takes because I do a lot of the same stuff. But I see the messages that you put out on different platforms. You know, that is a total representation of what you're going through and what you're feeling. And then I think it's remarkable. You send me and Dean a message, and it's always super detailed, and it always lands at the right time. You know, it's one of those messages where you read, and you're like, wow, it's, you know, mate, it's a lot of, I know it's a lot of work, you know, and it's I know it changes a lot of people's lives too. So.
Yeah, but it's the thing is, it changes me and helps me as well.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, so that's good.
Yeah, that's I think the lesson. I mean, what I'm taking out of talking to you today is just that. You know, no matter what your age is or where you're at in life, you know, but just the constant ability to remind yourself and put yourself back on track and tell yourself the story that you want to hear. And as soon as you stop it, and I know personally, you know, particularly for me this time in my life when I've got kids and there's distractions that I never had before, you start dropping the ball on those things, and you do notice how it changes your momentum, I guess. So you just got to keep pulling it back, setting the direction and going again. Yeah, it's cool, man.
Yeah, it's you know, and I think for people, and I know for me, I know for years I was trying to work out that I want to do something that made a real difference in the world, you know. And you're trying to, what's this, you know, and you're searching for something huge that you can do. Yeah. And then one day I just realised it's not about trying to do that one big thing. It's just every day, just, you know, just help somebody. Yeah. You know. Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I know one of the videos I do, and I lose it every time. I see it, and when I say it, it's one of the videos we did at the sanctuary, and they were kind of asking everybody what they, you know, why they're here, why they're doing what they do, and it was one quote that I read, and I remind myself of it all the time, and it goes, always lose it. If you help one person, you're not going to change the world, but you'll change the world for that one person. Yeah, and I just think that's cool because we can think that we need to be, you know, trying to change the world, but just one, like, to coin a phrase, one random act of kindness at a time does a lot.
Absolutely. Love it, man. I love it.
Yeah.
Mate, let's ask one more question. I think who would you say has inspired you most in life? Like, I know it's a tough question. Yeah. You've obviously taken a lot from a lot of people, but is there one person you can think of that's really made a big impression on your life? Yeah,
there is one person that's made a huge impression on my life, who's inspired me. It's a friend of mine named Bruce, and just seeing the way he lives his life. Been through some tough stuff, but just a man that lives with just unshakable integrity. Yeah. And he's generous, and I really got a lot of inspiration from him. I've known him since I was 18, I think. He's a bit older than me. Like I think he's 69 now. Yeah. And but he's really inspired me. Yeah, over the time.
Obviously taking a lot of lessons from the way you live your life from him.
Yeah. Some I haven't taken as well as I should, but you know, I really feel I'm a better person for having, you know, known him. Good. Yeah. So while he's in, you know, he has really inspired me to, you know, to do some things in life and, you know, be who I am. You know, the people who I think are that have been the most important in my life would be Mum and Dad.
Yeah. Are they still around?
My dad is, yeah. But I just growing up, I looked at them as examples, and you know, I think it's sad today that, there's so many people out there that have issues with their, with their parents.
Yeah, totally.
And it's hard for me to relate to it because I just look back at my childhood and go, phew, it was good.
Lucky.
Like we never, like when my dad brought us out here, he had to basically leave everything behind, but he wanted to put us in a safer place. And so I know that they sacrificed a lot to do that, but they were just I just look at them and remember how they lived, and look at even my dad today, how he's living. He's just a beautiful man, and and I'm so happy for that. And I think, whilst I said like Bruce has inspired me to do a lot of stuff, I think it was my parents that made me who I am. Gave me the the spirit that I've got, and
You think there's a lot of the way you parent in the way your parents
I think
parent?
so. Like Mum, they weren't. I say they weren't strict, but I guess in certain ways they I'm sure they were. They didn't. I felt like I had a lot of freedom as a young guy, even as a teenager growing up, and I never got into trouble. And I think it was just watching them how they lived their life, and they trusted me to do stuff. I'm not saying I was a golden child, but I just said I never really got into trouble, and they gave me freedom to do things, and I've done that with my kids, and trusted them with stuff, and and I think it's
works.
Yeah, it works. And yes, I'm really my childhood is a happy memory for me. There's no unhappy memories there, so that's cool.
You're lucky, man. It's nice that you. I have the same upbringing. I have the same emotion when that gratitude I've got for my parents is very similar. And it's a nice thing, because especially when you've been a parent,
I hope my kids feel the same, and I'm sure they do. I really
Absolutely.
think they feel the same way.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
It's excellent. If I know we've talked about it a lot, but just to finish on, if there was one piece of advice you could give people, anyone who's listening to this, if anyone's listening to this, what would you say? Like, you could say what you've covered already, but what would be one piece of advice for people just looking to be better or to improve themselves?
The one thing that sticks that there's a few. Like I've got kind of 6 beliefs that I hold on to, and but the number one of that is nothing in life has any meaning but the meaning you give it. I think that is so that if there's one thing that someone can take away is to go, and that's our choice. In any situation, it's our choice how we react to it, and that can change your day. Like something happens first thing in the morning, you could go, "That's it," the day's over. And people do that. So the one thing goes wrong, and they focus on that, and then it just leads to more and more stuff. Whereas, whatever the situation is, you go, well, what does that really mean? Is it really, an issue? Like I remember listening to an interview that Anthony Robbins did with a POW from, I can't remember if it was the Vietnam War or the Korean War, but here's this guy that got captured by the enemy, and spent it was something like 8 years in a cell that's like the size of the top of that table, and he came out of that with positives, yet there's people right next door to him in the same cell, and they come back, and and that's extreme situations, but that guy can find something positive and come back and be a productive, inspirational member of the community,
and share his story,
yeah. And other people, it just destroys them.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine what that would be like, but it's just that's an extreme situation. But it's just, what does that mean? Look at Nelson Mandela.
Yeah.
Look at him. Like he could have come out of that
enraged.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But he didn't. Like he said, well, what am I going to do with this situation?
Yeah.
And just change the lives of so many people.
Taking responsibility just for whatever you got, whatever.
Yeah,
whatever
and I know, I see people that, they get hurt. People do stuff to them, and the one word I really hate using is the word victim.
Yeah.
You can't allow yourself to become a victim, because once you're a victim, then you're no longer in control.
Yeah.
So as I see things that happen to people, and I feel terrible for them, but I don't want them to take on that they're a victim, and you hear it in the news all the time, and he's a victim of this and he's a victim of that. Well, something happened to him,
yeah.
But once he's the victim or she's the victim, there's you're not in control anymore.
You're boxed in.
Yeah, you're boxed in. You've got to just shake off that. You can't have the victim mentality. No matter what it is, you've got to just know that I can rise above this, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've got to ask, mate. You can't tell us one of the 6 beliefs and not tell us the other 5.
Actually, I've got them. I'll read them out to you. So number 2 is there's always something to be thankful for.
Yep.
Always. You can always, if you think about it, if you look for it, you'll find something. Always. Number 3, anything's possible. You got to have that. You got to believe that that you can do it. You've got a passion to do something, then you just have to believe. If you don't believe it, all hope's gone. You just got to believe that you can do it. Number 4 is the golden rule, which is what I really feel my parents instilled into me, and we had a plaque that sat on the wall, which was, that's what it was. It was a golden rule. Do unto others as you have others do unto you. And before my mum passed away, she gave that to me, so that's now kind of on the wall in my place. So
that's heavy.
That's cool. Yeah.
So your mum really pushed that rule? That was her?
Yeah, well, and I say she didn't kind of push it like in saying it, like it was there all the time. She pushed it by living it. I mean, she really lived that, and even though I was reading on the wall, I saw that in her. They just, both of them, my mum and dad, just, you just see how they treated people, and everyone loved them.
Yeah.
Just good people. Number 5, I have so much to offer. And to live each day on purpose. And to me, living each day on purpose is, like I said, what I do. Look, if you can inspire somebody or encourage somebody, and and try to in every situation, when you leave somebody, make them feel better than they did before they met with you that day. If you can do that, then I think that's cool.
Ticking the box.
Yeah. And number 6, most important, no matter how good things are, I really believe the best is yet to come. We haven't reached our potential. We haven't reached the limit of good stuff. The best is yet to come. I'm going to deadlift 130.
I think when you were saying that there, I think about that, because I think about these guys turn up to training, crazy hours. They constantly lift heavy weight and push themselves in crazy areas. And I know that when people walk in and see that, they look at you and go, and the boys who train with you, you're all in good peak shape, and they must think, like, this guy's already got to go on. What's he pushing for? I think that's the keys, and that's the lesson. That there's always more, mate.
And I've said that to other people. Say the best is yet to come. You've got to always believe the best is yet to come. And someone says, "Well, what about when you're 85? Things get worse." I say, "Well, there's still best to come. The best. There's other things, and life is just full of stuff. But you got to believe that, or else, if you don't believe the best is yet to come, and it's all going to get worse, it's a bit hard to stay motivated.
And you get the worst.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you get. Yeah. So if you believe the best is yet to come, that's what happens.
Love it, man. That's it.
That's it.
The 6 golden rules, the 6 rules, the 6 beliefs.
Rules. 6 beliefs. Yeah.
Thank you, mate. Thanks for sharing those with us.
That's all right. My pleasure.
So there you have it. There's close to an hour of Gordo. the intention with this podcast was always to just to bring stories about real people and find out how they're doing things, why they're doing things, in the hope that if you are listening to this and you can take some pearls of wisdom out of it, and apply it yourself and improve the way you are and just get better. That's always been the intention, mate. And I thank you for sharing all that stuff with us.
My pleasure.
It's gold, mate. So thank you very much. Gordon Rutty, legend.